this is Daniel Mart back again. I'm an actor and filmmaker based out of South Florida, and for this video, we're basically going to be discussing who I would vote for in the Academy Awards, the Oscars, if I was an Academy member. So yeah, these are not my predictions. This is not me predicting who's going to win the Oscars in about 2 weeks when they air. No, this is just me. If I was in the Academy, if I was on their voting bodies for every single category they have here, every single prize they have here, who would I personally vote for? Again, it's not me predicting who's going to win, although I may discuss that in some details, but again, just who I would personally vote for if I was on the Academy team voting for this. I'm also going to preface with saying that I haven't seen every single movie that's here. Last year, I kind of lost my passion for movie watching a little bit towards the end of last year, which is usually when I would start really binge watching a bunch of these movies. So I'm going to be completely honest. I haven't seen a lot of the movies that are here nominated. I'm going to be completely honest with you. So some of this is also just me guessing or guesstimating based off what's been shown in other award shows or what other people are discussing. So I'm going to preface with that, with all that being said. So yeah, we're going to start off with Best Visual Effects and head our way up to Best Picture. So just bear with me for now. And yeah, first off, we have Best Visual Effects, and I have my computer here so I could look at all the details. That's why I keep looking off from here to there, to there, to there. But yeah, Best Visual Effects. We have Alien Romulus, Better Man, Doom Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked. I'm going to mention Wicked very fast right now. I was not the biggest fan of Wicked. To be completely honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of the Wicked musical as a whole. And then the movie, I think it has some good stuff in it, but I think just ultimately it's just kind of a very mediocre movie, if I'm being completely honest, especially compared to In the Heights, which is John M. Chu's previous movie, which I thought was phenomenal. And for him to go from that to this, which is just barely better than Dear Evan Hansen, because, my gosh, that was a train wreck. So yeah, Wicked, I thought it was just very, very meh. So, if I'm being completely honest, there's a lot of awards here, categories here, nominations that he got here, that I honestly do not agree with. Now, granted, it's not the worst over-nominated movie this year. We all know which one that one is. But just for the record, I am not going to pick Wicked to win any of these awards. Although I do think that some of these awards that got nominated for, such as visual effects, have more of a merit to be nominated for than some of the other ones that got nominated for, which we'll see later on down the line. But yeah, just because of that, I'm not going to pick Wicked. So what would I pick for Best Visual Effects? Honestly, just Doom Part 2. It is the one that's nominated for Best Picture. It is also nominated in a bunch of other awards here. Unlike Better Man, unlike Alien, and unlike Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Wicked is the only other one that has that pedigree, so to speak. But honestly, just Doom Part 2 is a better movie overall. The last one, I'm pretty sure Dune won the award for Best Visual Effects. So yeah, Doom Part 2, that's my winner pick. Alright, next up, we have Best Film Editing. And here we have Sean Baker for Nora, David Jansko for The Brutalist, Nick Emerson for Conclave, Juliette Wolfing for Emilia Perez, and Myron Kirsten for Wicked. Like I said, I'm not going to pick Wicked to win any of these categories, and honestly, what the hell is Emilia Perez even doing in this category to be nominated? I have no idea. Again, that's the movie that got over-nominated for some reason. 13 nominations, that is insane. And that's before we actually get to the actual controversies of the movie. So yeah, so really for me, it's down to Honora, The Brutalist, and Conclave. And for me, honestly, I will pick Conclave to win this. I'm not going to predict it. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not going to predict it. I think another movie may win this. But for me personally, I would pick Conclave. Now, I'll be completely honest. I do have some issues with Conclave, with the story, especially towards the ending. And I'm not just saying that as a Christian. I just think that that's a very weird twist to have. And just semi-insulting twist to have. And I'm surprised it hasn't caused as much of a commotion as it should have. And I'm not just saying that as a Christian. I mean, I have other non-Christian friends who even they found that twist to be just kind of weird and in bad taste. So take that for what you will. And I'm not trying to get religious here. I'm not trying to get political here. But yeah. But that being said, it was a really great, tight thriller throughout the whole movie. And just, again, those last 10 minutes just really ruined it. But even then, in those last 10 minutes, the editing itself was still very magnificent, very great. It's just story elements of that movie that I just did not like at the end. Kind of reminds me of Birdman, where everything was good, and then like the last 5 minutes just kind of ruined the movie a little bit. So, go figure. So yeah, but I will pick Conclave to win for Best Film Editing. Next up, Best Costume Design. We have A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. Honestly, Wicked being nominated here makes sense. I'm not going to pick it to win. but it makes sense. For this one, I would pick Nosferatu to win, honestly. First off, it's a horror movie. I love horror. It's my favorite genre in general. And that's going to be very evident with some of these other winner picks I have later on down the line. But yeah, I would honestly just pick Nosferatu to win. It's also a period piece. Granted, all of these, aside from Wicked, are a period piece. But like, well, no, Conclave is modern day. What am I saying? Conclave is modern day. But yeah, Nosferatu, Gladiator 2, and Complete Unknown, those are period pieces. But like, Complete Unknown, which is like, what, in the 60s, 70s? That type of fashion is, I feel, is a bit more easy to recreate as opposed to Nosferatu, which takes place in like the Edwardian age, I want to say, or Victorian age, or 1800s or 1700s, whenever it takes place. So that's why in Gladiator 2, I mean, let's be honest, we all thought Gladiator 2 was going to be a bigger movie. It was going to be nominated for a lot more awards, and it just got nominated for this. So yeah, I wouldn't pick it to win, to be honest, but it's kind of sad that this is the only nomination it got, given the discussion that we had earlier in the year with like Denzel possibly being nominated, Mescal being nominated, maybe Ridley Scott gets a nomination and all that. Maybe it gets nominated for Best Picture, and then no, it just gets costume design. It's like niche. But yeah, Nosferatu, that's my winner pick. Next up, we have Best Makeup and Hairstyling. We have A Different Man, Emilia Perez for some reason, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked. Again, Wicked kind of makes sense to be nominated here, but like I wouldn't pick it. And Emilia Perez, honestly, just why? This one makes even less sense than film editing, if I'm being honest. Is it just because Sofia Gascon was in man, or it was made up to look like a man at the very beginning of the film? Like, I mean, I'll admit, it was great makeup, but like, that's really the most evident makeup they have. I mean, I guess at the very end with the car crash, but like, yeah, no. For this one, I'm just gonna go for Substance. Honestly, yeah, that is my winner pick. The Substance. That's the one I would go for. It's just got some insane makeup, especially at the end with Master Eliza Sue. I'm not gonna lie. I do enjoy the fact that A Different Man is nominated here, because I do think that's a movie that could have been missed by the Academy in any capacity, and I just enjoy the fact that it's nominated here. I don't think it's gonna win, and I wouldn't vote for it personally, but The Substance, that's one I would vote for. It would be cool for Nosferatu to win. And there is a part of me that kind of wants it. Like, I would want to vote for it, but at the end of the day, The Substance is the one I would pick, and also The Substance is my favorite film of last year. So yeah, that's going to be a kind of a hint towards things to come in some of my other voting decisions here. Next up, we have Best Cinematography. We have Lal Crawley for The Brutalist, Greg Fraser for Doom Part 2, Paul Gilliam for Emilia Perez for some reason, Ed Lockman for Maria, surprisingly, and Jaron Blanchke for Nosferatu. I'm honestly very surprised that Maria got in here, because again, this is another movie just like Gladiator 2, where we thought it was going to be a bigger movie here at the Oscars. I mean, Pablo Larraín, the director of the movie, he's gotten his actresses into Best Actress in the past with Kristen Stewart for Diana and Natalie Portman for Jackie Kennedy. So like, it's surprising that Angelina Jolie missed, especially because like she had the narrative. Everybody thought she was going to not just get nominated, but she was going to be the winner pick. And no, at the end, that just really died out. So that's kind of sad. I mean, I'll be honest. Last year, I actually picked up for my movie collection, both of his other movies, Jackie and Diana, to put it in my movie collection because I thought Maria was going to be a bigger thing there. And I was going to rewatch it before I watched Maria. And I honestly, to this day, I still haven't seen Maria. So go figure. But yeah, who would I vote for to win in this category? I'm going to say Nosferatu, not going to lie. There is a part of me that would also vote for Doom Part 2, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think either of those are going to win, so that kind of hints at what I think is actually going to win. But yeah, for me personally, I would vote for Nosferatu. Next up, we have Best Production Design. We have The Brutalist, Conclave, Doom Part 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. I'll be honest, out of any of these, I think this is probably the one that Wicked may have the most likely to win. Maybe? To be honest, like, I mean, makeup could still win. It could also win in costume design. But if I'm being completely honest, and I know this isn't a prediction video, but I do want to mention this. I think this is the one that makes the most sense for Wicked to win. And this is probably the one where I would consider the most in voting for Wicked. Granted, that's not the one I'm voting for. Again, we have The Brutalist, Conclave, Doom Part 2, and Nosferatu. I'm going to kind of ignore Conclave in this regard because it's not that the production design is bad. It's just, for me, it's not that surprising compared to some of the other stuff that The Brutalist, Doom Part 2, and Nosferatu go for. And for this one, I'll be completely honest too. If not for that whole AI controversy with The Brutalist, this is the one I would pick. I'm not gonna lie. If not for that whole AI controversy, and I just don't like the feeling of what that means. I just feel very gross about it. And I know Brady Corbet has tried to explain his stance and like explain what some of the people under him who were working on the movie, like what they were trying to say. Something about it just makes it feels very wrong, and because of that, I just don't think it should be nominated in this category. I understand that the post-production process is very hard. Trust me, I know that. Even with just make my little short films, but I don't think that's an excuse to use AI in any capacity. And I think to a certain degree that also should invalidate Adrian Brody and being nominated here. Same thing with Felicity Jones, but that's a whole different discussion after the fact. I know this is the production design section, but just to hit on the actors very fast, I forget which movie it was, but I want to say it's like Blood Diamond or something like that. But there's an actress who she did a scene and then they CGI'd like a tear going down her cheek. It's like, no, leave their actual performances alone. Don't do that. You shouldn't be doing that. I don't care if you're just putting a CGI tear or you're using AI to better enhance their stuff. You're in that you're ruining the performance because you don't trust them with the performance. You can mess around with it with the actual editing of the performance. That's cool because that's the nature of filmmaking. But then don't go in and like mess with the performance through CGI or AI. I think that's just very gross. And with the Brutalist in this case, given the fact that it's just so stoked in that whole AI controversy, I don't feel right to be nominated in this category, or most of the categories that's nominated for, because of that whole AI controversy, if I'm being completely honest with you. And because of that, and I'm not just saying this because, again, horror is my favorite genre, but because of that, I would choose Nosferatu to that would be my winner pick. Again, if not for that whole AI stuff, I would honestly vote for the Brutalist. But because of that whole AI thing, and it just makes me feel wrong, I just don't like the idea of it. I mean, that's what we fought for about 2 years back before Fran Drescher literally like screwed us over again, because of course she did. Money hungry. That's all she cares about. She's thinking about the money, whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Nosferatu to win this. That's what I would vote for. Screw Fran Drescher again. I know 2 years later, but screw Fran Drescher. She has no idea what she's talking about. And screw AI. Brady Corbet, you did a really bad job in using AI. Again, AI should be used as a tool. You guys did not use it as a tool. Next. Best sound. We have A Complete Unknown, Doom Part 2, Emilia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robots. It's funny because I knew this beforehand, but now reading the categories, the nominations again, I kind of just remembered. We have 3 musicals in Best Sound. We have A Complete Unknown, we have Emilia Perez, and Wicked. Wicked, I would not pick to win. Emilia Perez, I would not pick to win. Complete Unknown, I would consider to win, if I'm being completely honest. But at the end, I would just give this to Doom Part 2. I do like the nomination for The Wild Robots. I'm not going to lie. I do very much like that nomination. At the end, I'm going to give it to Doom Part 2. Also, I'm pretty sure Doom 1 also won this category beforehand. So there is that too. Next up, we have Best Original Song. We have El Mal from Emilia Perez, The Journey from the 6999, Like a Bird from Sing Sing, Mi Camino from Emilia Perez, and Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late. And, not going to lie, this category is one of the worst categories, period, and not just because it has 2 Emilia Perez songs, mostly just because this is just a very weak category this year in general, so there's that. Also, not gonna lie, when I heard that Mi Camino was nominated, I'm like, okay, cool, because I thought Mi Camino was a completely different song. I thought Mi Camino was a song that they sing when Emilia Perez and Rita, they're starting their organization that's locating all these bodies. I thought it was that song where all the citizens are singing about how they're excited for Emilia Perez to help them find their dead relatives or whatever. I thought it was that song. I did not realize it was the Selena Gomez song, because that makes even less sense. That song was horrible, and that's not a dig at Selena Gomez. I think usually she's a great singer, but that goes to an issue with sound. The way they sound mixed that or sound edited that song and a lot of other songs in this movie just did not work at all. And that's before we get into just the horrible lyrics. Like, these are not lyrics. They may have a good tune. Like, El Mal has a very nice tune or beat or whatever you want to call it behind it, but the lyrics are absolute trash. I'm not gonna lie, I have warmed up a little bit to El Mal because of that beat, but like, no, not really. So because of that, because of the fact I'm basically gonna disregard the 2 Emilia Perez songs, there is a part of me that wants to vote for Diane Warren, because like that's the Journey 6888. She's never won, as far as I remember. She's been nominated like for the past 15 years essentially. So maybe just give it to her. And honestly, some people do think that she's gonna win it. Again, this isn't a predictions video, but I'll admit there are some people who are like, maybe if the 2 Emilia Perez songs are really that heavily affected by the drama behind the actual movie, maybe we just give it to Diane Warren so we don't have to nominate her ever again. However, if I'm gonna be honest, I don't think she'll win this year, because I actually think she's gonna win next year. this year in 2025, she has her own documentary coming out, and since she's been nominated every single year for like the past 10, 15 years, I 100% believe that she's gonna have a song, especially if it's her own, especially if it's her own documentary. She's gonna have her own song. She's gonna sing it, and then next year, this time, she'll be nominated for the Oscar, and then she'll finally win because that's a song that she wrote for her own movie. Just give it to her at that point. And I've also said it'll be very, very hilariously ironic if the 1 year she has her own documentary, has her own song for her own documentary, and all this. That's the 1 year she doesn't get nominated. That would honestly be such a troll thing to do to her after all this time. It would be kind of hilarious. It would honestly suck. But yeah. So, but here's the thing. I'm not voting for the 6888, 6999, whatever this movie's called. I'm not voting for Diane Warren. I'm actually voting for Sing Sing, Like a Bird. Now, I'm going to be honest. None of these songs are really that outstanding. Never Too Late. I mean, it's Elton John, so in that case, yeah, it's good. But, like, it's not like Yellow Brick Road, Candle in the Wind, Jenny and the Bad. So it's not like some of his other top tier songs. This is just like an average, run-of-your-mill Elton John song. So that, again, that's not to say it's bad, but like even compared to his other songs, it's Rocket Man, Daniel, like it's just average. So yeah, I'd give it to Sing Sing. Also, it gives Sing Sing a win eventually, in my opinion. Granted, I am gonna vote for Sing Sing and another thing. But, it just gives Sing Sing a little bit of support. So that's why I'd vote for it. Next up, we have Best Original Score. We have Daniel Bloomberg for The Brutalist, Volker Bergstrom for Conclave, Clement Duxelle and Camille for Emilia Perez, for some reason, John Powell and Stephen Schwartz for Wicked, for some reason, and Chris Bowers for The Wild Robots. So this category kind of makes no sense, because at least for Emilia Perez and Wicked, are we saying that, like, the music, like El Mal and Popular, like, that's the score? And that's why it's being nominated, because, like, that's kind of weak, in my opinion. And, yeah, I know score, theoretically, it's just, like, the music in the background, but, like, when it comes to musicals, because you don't see A Complete Unknown be nominated here, for example, like, why are Emilia Perez and Wicked be nominated? Especially for Wicked, because there's a whole controversy where Dune Part 2 was not allowed to be nominated for Best Score because it was using a lot of music, or music cues or whatever from Dune 1. However, Wicked is allowed to be nominated for Best Score, even though it's like music adapted from the stage to the screen. Like, and yeah, it does have a score, I guess, but like, let's be honest, the score that everybody's paying attention to is the actual music, Popular, Defying Gravity, all these songs. So it makes no sense. If I'm being honest, because of that logic, that very inconsistent logic, I would take out Emilia Perez. Again, if for Emilia Perez, if you're considering the score to be the actual music that's being sung, most of those songs aren't even that good to begin with. So take it out. So yeah, I would take out Emilia Perez and Wicked. So you're down to The Brutalist, Conclave, and The Wild Robots. Again, I do like this nomination for The Wild Robots. However, I would give it to Conclave just because it's the one that I've heard the most. That's not to say that The Brutalist score is bad or that The Wild Robots score is bad. Conclave is the one that's kind of just stuck with me a little bit more than the other two. Next up, we have all three shorts categories. Best Animated Short Film. I'm just going to run through these because no idea from, again, they're just the few scant things I've heard from some of the other awards bodies. But yeah, for Best Animated Short Film, we have Beautiful Man, In the Shadow of the Cypress, Magic Candles, Wander to Wander, and Yuck. I'm going to vote for Yuck because it's a funny title. Next. Best Live Action Short Film, we have Alien, Angela, I'm Not a Robot, The Last Ranger, and The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. This is the only one I kind of know a little bit more of what's going on here, and I would vote for Alien, especially because it's very timely in what it's talking about, especially in our current political climate, especially with everything going on with the ICE raids and DACA and whatever's going on. Again, I'm not trying to get political, but that's the movie Alien is political, and it is discussing those topics, and I think it will make sense for that to win, and that's the one I would vote for, because why not? Look, I haven't seen any of these short films either, so I'm just going off like their IMDb descriptions and, again, whatever's being said online, so go from there. Best Documentary Short Film, we have Death by Numbers, I Am Ready, Warden, Incident, Instruments of a Beating Heart, and The Only Girl in the Orchestra. I'm going to vote for The Only Girl in the Orchestra, because why not? Documentary Feature Film, we have Black Box Diaries, No Other Land, Porcelain Wars, Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, and Sugar King. Now, I do have an idea of what could win in this category, but I kind of just want to differ from that. This is one of those things where I'm just going to go in the left field, and I'm going to vote for Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat. Now, granted, No Other Land and Porcelain Wars is a bit more timely, and that for that reason, that's why I chose Alien to win for Best Live Action Short. That's what I would have voted for. So logically, I should vote for that in Best Documentary Feature Film, but I just want to be kind of contrarian, and I'm gonna go for Coup d'etat. It's another one that sounds very interesting. Also, with Coup d'etat, it's a movie, one of the few documentaries where it had a push to be nominated in another category. People really wanted it to be nominated in Best Editing, and only like 2 documentaries have ever been nominated for Best Editing in the history of the Oscars. So honestly, if Coup d'etat would have gotten that nomination, it would have been a really cool nomination. If I'm being honest, I don't think it's gonna win, but because of that, and because I just want to be a bit contrarian in this category, that's what I would vote for. I would vote for Coup d'etat. Alright, next up we have Best International Feature Film. We have Emilia Perez, Flo, The Girl with the Needle, I'm Still Here, and The Seed of the Sacred Fig. I think this is one of those categories where Emilia Perez is heavily affected by the controversy. Now, granted, I still think, I know it's not predictions video, but for this one, I'm going to say a straight up prediction. I still think there's a chance that this could win. However, I do think the chances of it winning have lessened over time, but I still think it has a major leap. I mean, it's got 13 nominations, you know, like, what more of a major leap do you want, you know? So yeah, but despite that, I'm going to vote for I'm Still Here. I'll be honest, I haven't seen I'm Still Here. Emilia Perez and Flo, those are the only 2 international movies here that I've seen. I don't think Flo is going to win, and as much as I liked Flo, I wouldn't pick it to win. I would pick I'm Still Here to win. I just think it's, even though I haven't seen it, I feel like it's a better movie. It's not controversial. Fernando Torres won that Golden Globe SAG award. It was Golden Globe award out of nowhere, to everybody's surprise. And she got nominated here. And people are hating on Emilia Perez. So screw it. Why not? I'll vote for I'm Still Here. Go from there. Best Animated Feature Film. We have Flo, Inside Out 2, Memoirs of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit's Inventions Most Foul, and The Wild Robots. Now for this one, I am going to vote for Flo. Again, prediction time for like 5 seconds. I do think Wild Robots is going to win here, straight up. I mean, it got nominated in some other categories here. But for me personally, I would vote for Flo. I just liked Flo a little bit more. I thought it flowed a lot better than The Wild Robots did, which I know is kind of a hot take, because everybody liked the pacing of The Wild Robots. My one thing with The Wild Robots, when it came to the pacing, is the fact that I could kind of feel when every single episode was ending. Like, it's one of those things where it felt like this was a bigger story, where if this was like a 6-7 episode miniseries, I could see this being very good. And that's not to say that the movie itself is bad at this point. I still thought it was really good, but I could clearly tell, like, oh, this is when episode 1 would end. This is where episode 2 would end. This is where episode 3 would end. This is where episode 4 will end. And that honestly took me out of the experience of watching the movie just a little bit. Whereas with Flo, I didn't get that sense. I never, like, this, it was all one cohesive story with no beginning, middle, and end, so to speak. So for that, I would pick for Flo. And honestly, Flo has a cat. The Wild Robot doesn't. My favorite animal is a cat. And I love silent films, to be honest, too. So there is that as well. So, yeah, I will pick Flo. I don't think it's going to win, sadly. But I would pick Flo. And that's what I will vote for. Next up, we have Best Adapted Screenplay. We have A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. Again, this is another category where I would honestly pick Conclave. And I do think it's probably going to win, given literally every other awards body giving this award to Conclave. So I do think it's going to win. Again, predictions time for like 5 seconds, but I do think it's going to win. However, again, my decision, who would I vote for? And again, that ending to that movie just really left a sour taste in my mouth. I'm still deciding if it completely ruined the movie for me, or it's like Birdman, where like I could watch the whole movie up until like the last couple minutes, and then I'll just stop it. So, yeah, I mean, I keep comparing it to Birdman because I can't think of another movie where like the twist at the end really ruined the movie for me, like really ruined the movie for me, and Birdman's the only other one I could really think of that had like that effect on me. So because of that, and since I'm not going to pick Conclave, and I'm obviously not picking Emilia Perez because, Jesus Christ, I'm down to A Complete Unknown, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. Now, I'm not going to lie, if this was Best Cinematography, and Nickel Boys was nominated in this, I would pick Nickel Boys on it, like 100%, especially because of the way that movie's shot. And granted, I'll admit, I haven't seen Nickel Boys yet, but still, if this was like screenplay through like cinematography, then sure, I'd give it to Nickel Boys. But no, this is actual screenplay. So, I'm going to pick Sing Sing. Again, I just want to give Sing Sing as much flowers as I could. And for me, if I were to vote for it, I will vote for Sing Sing because why not? Go from there. Again, just the end of Conclave really put me in a bad mood, bad taste in my mouth. And Emilia Perez, not going to vote for it because obviously, and Complete Unknown, again, it's not to say I had a bad screenplay. I thought it was just like very, not average, but like it was like a good average, you know, like it was good, but like nothing outstanding, if that makes sense. And Nickel Boys, I just haven't seen. So go from there. I will vote for Sing Sing. Next up, we have Best Original Screenplay. We have Honora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5, and The Substance. Well, Like I said, I like horror. The Substance was my favorite film of last year. What do you want me to say? You know? There is a part of me that would want to vote for Nora. That is actually my second favorite film of last year, but like, again, I like horror. The Substance was my favorite movie of last year. What do you want me to say? Next up, we have Best Supporting Actress. We have Monica Barbaro as Joanie Baez in A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande as Glinda Upland in Wicked, Felicity Jones as Elizabeth Toth in The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini as Sister Agnes in Conclave, and Zoe Saldana as Rita Moracastro and Emilia Perez. Okay, time to complain about Wicked. These are some of the categories where I do not think Wicked should have been nominated for. I don't think it should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actress. I don't think it should have been nominated for Best Actress. And I don't think it should have been nominated for Best Picture. At all. Just straight up at all. I highly disagree with those three nominations. I supremely highly just disagree with those three nominations. So because of that, I would not vote for Ariana Grande to win in this category at all. Going off from there, I don't think Zoe Saldana should be in this category either. Because she is not a supporting actress. She is the lead actress of Emilia Perez. Carlos Sofia Gascon, she is the supporting actress of that movie. They should honestly be switched. This is clear category fraud. I do not understand it. And look, I'm going to be completely honest. All controversy aside, I actually think that Carlos Sofia Gascon, I actually thought she gave a great performance. I actually think she gave the best performance in the whole movie. Even more than Zoe Saldana. I'm going to be honest. Zoe Saldana, I thought she gave a very average performance. And I know that's a hot take. But I just thought she gave a very average performance. And that's before we actually get to the actual singing of it all. So I'm not going to vote for Zoe Saldana. Granted, I'm pretty sure she's going to win. But I'm not going to vote for her. Because I don't think she gave the best performance, even in her own movie. And she is not supporting actress. She is the lead actress. You can even do the math. So I don't know what's going on there. Straight up. She should not be nominated in this category. She should be Best Actress, not Supporting Actress. Gascon should be Best Supporting Actress. I don't know what's going on here. That being said, because I don't think Ariana Grande should even be nominated to begin with, and because Zoe Saldana is just clear category fraud, and those are the two front runners this whole race, I'm just going to ignore them because obviously, so we're down to Monica Barbaro, Felicity Jones, and Isabella Rossellini. And yeah, that's my winner pick. Rossellini. That's what I would vote for if I was voting. Again, I have my issues with Conclave, especially at the ending. However, that doesn't negate the fact that all the performances in that movie were fantastic. And Isabella Rossellini is honestly somebody who should have an Oscar by now. Give her Oscar for supporting actress for Conclave. There, done. I understand that some people are complaining that, oh, she didn't have enough screen time, I don't care. Whatever. I mean, you have Network, Beatrice Straight. She was in there for 5 minutes and won the Oscar. And whereas Rossellini was there for about a good half hour, give or take, maybe even less. Give her the Oscar. I don't care. Done. Next. It makes a lot more sense than category fraud, Zoe Saldana, or Ariana Grande, who shouldn't even be nominated in this category to begin with. Alright, next up, we have Best Supporting Actor. We have Yuri Borisov as Igor in Anora, Kieran Culkin as Benji Kaplan in A Real Pain, Edward Norton as Pete Seeger in A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce as Harrison Lee Van Buren in The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong as Roy Cohn in The Apprentice. Similar to Zoe Saldana, I don't think Kieran Culkin should be in this category. Because, again, he is the lead actor of his movie. Now, granted, it's one of those situations where it's almost like Thelma and Louise, where both actors are technically like the co-leads. But in this whole century, basically, the Academy just doesn't want to do that. They don't want to nominate two people from the same movie in lead actor or lead actress. They'll do it for supporting actor, for supporting actress, but they won't do it for lead actor or actress, which I think is just insane. Because him and Eisenberg, they're co-leads of that movie. Literally, do the math. Kieran Culkin, the screen time between Kieran Culkin and Jesse Eisenberg is literally 5 minutes. And even then, in those 5 minutes that he's not there, Eisenberg is talking about Kieran Culkin's character the whole time. So, go figure. So, yeah, I don't think Kieran Culkin should be nominated in here because, again, he is the lead or a co-lead of that movie. But at least it makes somewhat more sense than Zoe Saldana. I mean, at least he has 5 minutes less than Jesse Eisenberg. So, at least there's that very slight argument as opposed to Zoe Saldana, whose runtime topples her co-star the actual lead of the movie. Again, I do think Kieran Culkin is gonna win. But again, who would I vote for? I'd vote for another Succession bro. I would vote for Jeremy Strong in The Apprentice. I think he did an incredible job in bringing, not sympathy per se, but like helping us understand such a complex and somewhat despicable individual in Roy Cohn, who's also kind of struggling with his, with AIDS, right before he died. And again, not sympathy, but understanding where he's coming from. And I thought he did an incredible job. So yeah, I would pick Jeremy Strong. And honestly, I just think it's insane, in a good way, that both him and Sebastian Stan got nominated for that movie, given the political time that we're in. Honestly, the second I heard Trump won the election, I'm like, okay, The Apprentice is not going to be an Oscar thing, like, at all. It's not going to be an Oscar thing at all, because Hollywood doesn't like Trump, so why would they vote for his movie, so to speak? And even though that's on top of the fact that Donald Trump himself was suing to make sure that this movie never sees the light of day. Next up, we have Best Actress. We have Cynthia Erivo for Elphaba Throp in Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon as Emilia Perez / Juan Manitos de la Monte in Emilia Perez, Mikey Madison as Honora Annie McKeeva in Honora, Demi Moore as Elizabeth Sparkle in The Substance, and Fernanda Torres as Eunice Palva in I'm Still Here. Again, Erivo should not be nominated, just point blank and period. Gascon should not be in this category. It should be Zoe Saldana. Gascon should be in Best Supporting Actress. So I'm not voting for you. Also, that's before we actually get to the actual controversy, because Jesus Christ, Gascon, Emilia Perez is the whole reason this is one of the messiest Oscar races in forever. Just because of all it was so messy. I literally made like a 30-minute video, discussing all the controversies, and then come to find out, after I made that video, that no, there was actually a few other controversies that I never even mentioned, because I completely forgot, because I was focused on all these other controversies. You know? And granted, some of this also has to do with Jack Audiard, but screw that guy too. But yeah, no, I'm not voting for Cynthia Erivo, and I'm not voting for Carlos Sofia Gascon. And like I said, The Substance was my favorite movie of last year. I like horror. And not gonna lie, I am buying into the narrative of Demi Moore winning an Oscar. I'm sorry. She is not a popcorn actress. I get it. She's done stuff like Charlie's Angels and Striptease. And, she started off as one of the Brat Pack members, with St. Elmo's Fire. I get that. But, like, at the end of the day, bring some respect to that name. She was G.I. Jane. She was in A Few Good Men. Like, come on. Give me a break. It's one of those things. I'll be completely honest. I didn't appreciate Demi Moore for the actress she was until The Substance. It's one of those things that because of The Substance, I actually went back and saw some of her other performances from the past. And I'm like, oh, wow. She's always been great. Give her flowers. Like, it's like the same thing with like Brendan Fraser, Michelle Yeoh, Robert Downey Jr. Like, this is the narrative, and the narrative here makes sense. Again, not to like kind of disregard it, but like theoretically, this is kind of the narrative we were expecting for Angelina Jolie. But no, Demi Moore got it. So yeah, Demi Moore. I honestly think she's gonna win, and that's who I would vote for. Granted, not gonna lie, Mikey Madison could definitely win the award. And dark horse Fernanda Torres could definitely win the award. If Cynthia Erivo or Gascon win, I would just no. I just would not accept that at all. But yeah, I would vote for Demi Moore in a heartbeat. Next up, we have Best Actor. We have Adrian Brody as Laszlo Toth in The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown, Colman Domingo as John Divine G. Whitfield in Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes as Cardinal Thomas Lawrence in Conclave, and Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump in The Apprentice. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there is kind of a troll part of me that wants to vote for Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump. And he did give a great performance, not gonna lie. But, like, again, I'm gonna go for somebody who I actually like. One of my favorite actors in this lineup, Colman Domingo. Like, straight up, I love the fact that he is finally getting his flowers after all the work he's done. Selma, even some of the stuff he's done before that. He was on Fear the Walking Dead. Like in the past 2 years with Rustin and all this and some of the other stuff he's going to be doing in the future, I love the fact that he is getting his flowers, the fact that he's getting recognized. I understand, not a snowball chance in hell he's going to win, because this race comes down between Adrian Brody and Timothy Chalamet. But again, for me, personally, I would vote for Colman Domingo. Simple as that. Next up, we have Best Director. We have Sean Baker for Honora, Brady Corbet for The Brutalist, James Mangold for A Complete Unknown, Jack Audiard for Emilia Perez, for some reason, and Coralie Farja for The Substance. Again, this is one of those things where I have to kind of remind myself that this is not a predictions video, because I know who I would honestly predict. But because this is not the predictions video. This is the video discussing who I would personally vote for. And given the fact that The Substance is my favorite movie of last year, the fact that horror is my favorite movie genre, period, I think we all know who I'm going to vote for. I'm going to vote for The Substance. It's the most original movie here. And just straight up, yeah. Again, I have to remind myself that this is not a predictions video, because if this was a predictions video, I'd be between Honora and The Brutalist, to be completely honest. But this is not a predictions video. This is a who would I vote for video. And who would I vote for is The Substance to win. And last but not least, we have Best Picture. And Best Picture, we have Honora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Doom Part 2, Emilia Perez, for some reason, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked, for some reason. So yeah, honestly, I'm very surprised that the Nickel Boys really pulled it off here. And I think we all know I'm Still Here has got to be one of the most wildest nominations for Best Picture in a long time, in a good way. But like I said, I love horror, and The Substance is my favorite movie of last year. I'm sorry to be predictable, but who would I personally vote for? Not who I predict to win, but who would I personally vote for? If I was on the voting body, who would I personally vote for? I would personally vote for The Substance to win Best Picture, straight up. I'm being completely honest. That's who I would personally vote for. 100%, that's who I would personally vote for. So, yeah, those are my winner picks across the board. Basically it for now. I know this video is going to be coming out really late. Again, it's probably going to be coming out on the weekend because, well, right now I'm filming this on Friday, so it's coming out tomorrow, probably on Saturday. So, yeah. Who would you vote for if you were voting on the Oscars? Again, these are not predictions, but if you're on the voting body, who would you vote for? And in these categories, comment all that down below, let me know. And yeah, that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart, signing off.